This is Todd Tritchler, and welcome to this. Well, it's not really a podcast. You have a podcast, but I have as my guest JuergenSchuster, who is just recently won in our Oracle Database Developer Choice Award. So, first of all, congratulations, Juergen, for winning in the Apex category. Very well deserved. I'm wearing a shirt that has been influenced by you, Apex. Yeah. I believe is your logo. Word has it on the street. Oh, yes. Very good. And he's flashing me here. But that's Apex World, which is another thing that Juergen is just intimately involved with and pushing along. And it's these additional activities that really help build a community. And the Apex community is literally one of the most vibrant communities in the Oracle technology world. Maybe we just start off with that. Juergen, tell me about the backstory for Apex World. How did it get started? I mean, you started a podcast already, the Apex podcast. Yeah. But Apex World, how did it start out?
Yeah, I always have the problem that there are so many informations out there about Apex, so many different channels, hundreds of blogs, and you get most of them through Twitter. But you get a lot of noise in Twitter too, so it just...
What, you mean it has a high noise to signal ratio?
Yeah, yes. If you have to follow at least 50 people, at least, to get all the content, the interesting content out there, and to stay tuned. And it took me quite some time every day to stay updated with what's going on in the Apex community and what's new out there. Because once you have mastered the Apex technology itself, it's very, very helpful to know about solutions that are out there. You can spend days, weeks, or months of development when you know a guy who already solved the problem. So it's so valuable for yourself and for the customer. I'm a freelancer now for more than 6 years. Actually, I'm now almost 7 years. And it's really helpful for my customer and for myself when I can just do projects because I know, yes, the solution is out there, and I personally know the guy who did this, and I can talk to him. I can read a blog from him. I can bring them into the project, even which I did, and that's so the solutions around Apex are so valuable right now, at least as valuable as all the tips and tricks dealing with Apex itself. So it's very crucial that you are staying up to date what's going on around the Apex technology, but it takes some time. And I did it for myself, and I put everything in Evernote and make my personal notes. And I thought to myself, we really need one central place where everything Apex related is focused. You don't want to go to different blogs and Twitter accounts and I don't know, so many different sources, forum entries, stuff like that. There should be one place where you can find it all. And why should I do it only for myself? I have to do it anyway, and I will do it anyway for the rest of my life. But why is there a way to share it? And I talked to Joel in 2014. Yeah, it was 2014 on the DOA conference in Germany. And he said, yeah, go for it.
That's like Joel.
You get everything from me. I planned to do it on apexoracle.com. And I said, Joel, I need a lot of space. He said, you tell me what you need. You get everything from me. And then I made a podcast recording in New York right before Kscope with
Mark Suits in New York?
Suits, yeah, sure. but I want to say, and then I accidentally met Dan again.
Okay.
Dan again. And he was in the office in this day. And I talked about my idea, and he immediately said, yeah, you have to do this way, and we can do it this way. And he said, oh, he's talking about we. This is what I wanted to hear. Because I knew when I have Dan on the team as a technical solution, as a leader, I know I can achieve everything, right? And also Mark said, yeah, great idea, I'll help you out. And then, we started pretty soon after Kscope, and a lot of people joined. So now we have Michael Dürbeck, from a colleague of mine, Daniel Hochleitner, Carsten Czarski, Dan McGann, of course, Adrian Ping, and other folks that are helping out. The team is growing, and it was very, very, very much fun to do the project with this international team, and everybody was excited, and we always had discussions how we do this, the final solution, and they always come up with even much better ideas. I had the initial idea, and I said, okay, I want to do it this way. And then Dan said, okay. He let talk for 5 minutes and said, okay, why don't we do it this way? I said, oh shit, yeah, that's 10 times better. 10 times better. Same with Shakib, when Shakib saw first the layout.
Yeah, Shakib is a CSS guru.
he was very polite. He was very polite and telling me, this is your layout, interesting. Why don't you do it this way and that way? And so it was really fun to have this, and we're still active. And we finally managed to get all the content into one place. So we have a news section. This is my part, what I do every day. So I pull out all the news every day and post the most relevant ones. I would say it's about 10 to 20 a week into the news panel. And it's just one sentence. The picture of the guy who posted it, one sentence, and you immediately see, is it relevant for me or not? So the whole point is, when you are not so into the community and want to follow everything in every second, just come to Apex World once a week.
Yeah.
And browse what's new. And we even have a beginners category. If you're just a beginner, you get overwhelmed with all this information. So you can click beginners, and you filter all the news for beginner relevant stuff. We have even a guideline how to start with as a beginner. We have a job postings, we have trainings, meetups, member functions, member of the month,
plugins, new plugins.
Plugins, thank you. Very, 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 very favorite place to go are the plugins and professional hosted plugins on GitHub, because plugins is a delicate subject. A cool feature, sure, but I ended up using a plugin in a project, and then it wasn't upgradable to Apex 5, and we had it in 5 different projects, and the customers are used to it. And I can't contact the developer anymore. He was not, I don't know.
Yeah.
He was not in the community anymore. So what are you going to do? So of course it's open. You can go into the plugin and can try to upgrade it by yourself. But we ended up, we get rid of it and found another solution with Apex 5, which was even better. But if you use a plugin in your project and you really are dependent to one developer, you have to be aware that you have 5 different projects worth of millions of dollars, and you are dependent on Oracle, which everybody is, on the Apex team, which everybody is, it's no problem, and also to this one guy
who built that plugin. That's an expensive lesson for you.
Yeah.
But how do you get around that? I mean, you've got functionality that's built out for you that you want to use. Just be very careful on which plugins you select. Do you have
This is the first thing.
Means of actually quantifying that is Apex World actually helping out with that in some way?
Yeah, so we decided, it was a long, very, very long discussion, and Martin Giffey-D'Souza finally won with his GitHub approach. We thought to ourselves, okay, if you host this plugin professionally on GitHub, that everybody can fork it, and this is the place to go if you know the developer by yourself, and this is a professional environment, and it's not that easy to host something on GitHub. So, so this is a kind of threshold for a more professional way to host a plugin, and this is what we decided, that we only show plugins in Apex World which are hosted on GitHub.
Oh, that's a great call. Because then somebody at least has to be serious enough on supporting it that he's going to go through the effort of actually making sure that you can pull it from GitHub.
Yeah, and you have this bug tracking stuff, and you can talk to the web developer in GitHub, and it's running well. Oh yeah, we also have a fan shop, like you say.
Yes.
Mods, and we have stickers, of course. I'm the guy who's sending the stickers all over the world, and and now we are planning to integrate the forum. We also have a Slack. We have the communication channel is Slack. So there is an exclusive Slack team for Apex World. You only get into the Slack team when you are registered in Apex World. 99% of Apex World is running without even you have to register. But if you do, this is one benefit: you automatically are invited to the Slack team, and there's a lot of discussion going on, and answering and questioning, and it's a different thing. I know the Oracle employees cannot access it anymore from inside from Oracle, but all other members are very happy, and you can really discuss problems or discuss a topic. It's different. Like the forum is have a question, and you hope for an answer, and this is it, right? Yeah. But there you can say, no, I totally disagree. I see it in a different way, and you can really have one-to-one contact. We have direct messages, and we have different groups for user interface, PL SQL, ODS, and JavaScript, and all that stuff. So different channels, very, very nice. And I'm a guy, I like to answer questions. So when I see, and we have also monitored the Slack output into Apex World. So you just have, Apex World is like a dashboard. You have it open, you have 3 panels. We have a Twitter live feed, which is now manually filtered, because we had a little porn gate a couple of weeks ago.
Oh, great.
Where the Otzel Apex, the Otzel Apex hashtag was banned by porn.
Oh wow!
And they were originally posted Apex tweets. So the text was originally Apex.
Oh, okay.
But
all the links had been hacked.
Yeah, but spammed with porn pictures.
Oh wow!
And it's not funny when you have a 27-inch monitor in your office and have the dashboard of Apex World on, and you see the porn pictures coming. So we finally decided we can't do this anymore. So now, me and Trent from Australia, we are going through all the Apex posts and retweet them manually. So,
manually retweeting, okay, because I saw that they were being retweeted by you guys, so that's the solution, yeah. And that's, I mean, well, I guess one thing about it is if they are targeting you like that, you know that you've built critical mass, because if you didn't have a very vibrant community that was actually doing something, they wouldn't bother to target you guys. So I guess take that as backhanded compliment, if you will, but that's a pain in the butt in terms of actually having to strip out all that stuff and manually, proof it. But it's only because you're successful.
Yes, exactly.
So switching gears now from that, let's talk about Apex in terms of the other side of this shirt, and hopefully I'll get it right. Can you read that?
Perfect.
Okay, so Chet's shirt. So, you got the bright red and black neon disco nightclub shirt on. I just got the original. So anyway, let's wreck this together. The whole concept of Apex is, well, Apex, some people have, put out the thing that it's only an Excel replacement. It's only, for small little cottage type apps or little, department apps. And yet we both know that it has actually been very widely used. And I mean, we have thousands of internal, at least 1,000 internal apps that probably use Apex and that. So stuff like that. What would you say is the most interesting, large-scale, mission-critical, if you will, app that you're familiar with that you've used in Apex and that?
Well, we did a dashboard at a very large customer here in Munich and worldwide company, very large company. And we did a dashboard with a couple of 500 pages. Mission critical because it's for the C-level management. And all the data and all the revenue and forecasts and issues the company has. This is was a very big project, but the whole thing, I don't know why this even started. That maybe Oracle said, okay, it's a replacement for Excel and Access, which it's not. If you just see the application builder, it has more than 1,000 pages.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the proof of concept that you can really use it, especially for big projects. I was with Oracle for 13 years. For 13 years, I worked there as an Oracle consultant, and I did pure SQL and the web interface there for a very long time. And you always end up in a project size where you say, okay, I don't know what's happening when I change this package.
Yeah.
Right. And so the larger the project is becoming, the more likely is you can't handle it anymore if you're writing source code. And Apex is totally different. Apex is generating 0 lines of source code, and you have a completely running application. And the beauty of it is you can have an application 1,000 pages big, and the customer wants another page, another functionality. You don't really have to care what the other 1,000 pages are doing and all the source code and the business logic. You just can focus on this one page and integrate it in this whole project, which you cannot if you have a project which is done by source code. Mm-hmm. Because you really need to know all the other packages and the common functionality you have to use and stuff like that, which is true for every other programming approach, no matter if it is Java, JavaScript, or .NET, or whatever it is.
So basically anything that isn't a declarative type programming framework.
Exactly.
Which is a lot of the tools that are out there.
So I would say use Apex for the very, very big projects, because you cannot actually do it with the regular programming approach. You cannot do it. Once you have a real big project, I tell 100% for sure you will not make it, and you will end up a lot of developers. Nobody knows what the other did in his source code, and when one developer is leaving the team, you really have a problem, right? We know that for a very long time, and it's not the language, it's the approach. Mm-hmm. When source code is bad, it's simple like that. Every line of source code, you just have to think that every line of source code costs you a certain amount of money every month for maintaining it, for change requests. So the more source code you have, it's not only the cost of the project to create a project, but it's even
maintenance.
Much more expensive. The total cost of ownership are enormous after that. when you have a complex project with a lot of source code, no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the beauty of Apex, that Apex is producing for the front end and for the controller not a single line of source code. You can completely focus on business logic.
Mm-hmm.
That's a totally different approach against all other things. One interesting project I did, I replaced an XJS application, which is the biggest JavaScript front-end API out there. And this application had 5 pages. And for every page, we had 4,000 or 5,000 lines of JavaScript code, complex JavaScript code, because you have this XJS API. You have to really understand how XJS is working.
Okay.
And then you have to build your JavaScript around that, and even business logic, and fill this API with data. So they ended up with more than 20,000 lines of JavaScript code. Nobody understood it. Nobody. And it costed...
Was the original developer still on site, or had he already moved on?
No, long gone.
No, bummer.
So they hired me and they asked me, can you do Java? I said, yes, but I'm not interested in Java. And then the other guy said, no, she meant JavaScript. Oh, that's a totally different story. And I said, yeah, I know JavaScript. Yeah, because we have this weird JavaScript program and nobody understands it. Would you like to maintain it? And I said, okay, let me have a look. And I made the offer, okay, I'm going to replace your application, which costs you $100,000 every year, literally.
Yeah.
And I replace it in 10% of the time, of the original time, what the original developer used to build up this project. And you will have at the end 1% of maintenance costs,
wow,
which you have right now, and I'm going to make it 10 times faster.
Wow.
But the big challenge was we had thousands of customers using this application, and the benefit for this JavaScript framework approach is, once you have moved these thousands of lines of code to the browser, you have kind of this user interface on the browser, and you have this interactivity with Ajax calls, right? So you don't have this page reloads anymore, and you have very nice user interface, and people were very used to this user interface.
Quick refresh without all the additional loading.
Yes, exactly. So the big challenge was the customer said, okay, first, I don't believe that you can do it.
And I want to have that same quick refresh, right?
Yeah, but if you ever think about it, we need to have the exact same user interface. The user, he doesn't really have to realize that this the user interface change.
Okay.
It's pretty easy. I said, yeah, sure, I can do that with Apex, because you can't build any user interface on this planet. And on the contrary, with this JavaScript framework, every user interface looks the same, because the user interface is only created on the browser. Once it's on the browser, the JavaScript is computed and it always produces the same user interface. So I really ended up getting this project, and I ended up with 250 lines of JavaScript code, well sorted out in 25 dynamic actions, all on page 0. And I had not even the same Ajax functionality, but even more.
Oh, wow.
And it was 10 times faster. It was very beautiful, the same user interface. And yeah, it's like when you're driving a car. You get stuck a lot in traffic, right? In traffic jams, and you are bound to streets, of course.
Yeah.
This is the classic approach to application development with source code, no matter what it is. Is it Java or .NET or JavaScript? With Apex, it feels like, okay, I can do that, but I also can start flying with my car and can go off the road. I'm 10 times faster than the cars. And not only that, I can achieve everything because Apex is so open, on the other hand, that you can achieve everything on the front end and everything on the back end you can think of, which is not true for the framework approaches. So this is how it feels like, that you are really so much faster in development speed and get nice user interfaces. You can fulfill all customer requirements, everything, no matter how crazy they are. You can do it with Apex. Often the people asking me, can Apex? And I said, stop, don't go any further. Yes, Apex can.
Yeah.
Because have you ever seen it in a browser? Is it technically possible in the browser? Yes, then Apex can do it, period. And from the version 1. It's not, you don't have to wait for the new version. No, it can do everything from version 1 because it's in the architecture, right?
So you're basically your premise there is that yes, it's more flexible than the 3GL type tools or the frameworks because you've got the declarative approach which allows you to focus on the business logic. Exactly. And yet at the same time, it's open enough that you can actually extend it whether if you want custom JavaScript, which you had 250 lines of it, to actually take advantage of whatever tools are there on the client side as well.
Exactly. That's the beauty of it, that you have both sides. It's very, very easy to get into Apex as a developer. I once built up a training called In 5 Days from Zero to Apex. So I trained people, was in the public sector, people who are familiar with forms or did access, have good IT skills. And I started the first day, I teach them HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, only the basics.
Yeah.
All worlds, and directed them, okay, where do you get more information? Understand the principle, HTML, CSS, JavaScript. The next day, SQL, simple SQL stuff. The third day, PL SQL, around the SQL. And the fourth and fifth day, Apex. So you really can learn the stuff in 5 days. You're not a professional, of course not, but it was amazing that the people were so happy. They weren't productive for a very, very long time anymore. And even there was a technical guy who just did the support for the computers.
Yeah.
And he really got into this area, and now he's a famous programmer. And so it's very easy to get into the technology because every single technology is not that complicated.
Yeah.
HTML is not that complicated. CSS is not that complicated. JavaScript, you don't need that much JavaScript. Until up to date, all the JavaScript I never need more than 10 to 20 lines of JavaScript code to accomplish my task. Most of it. And so,
except for that one where you had to reduce it down to 250.
I ended up in that the longest part of JavaScript was maybe 30 lines because I had 25 well-sorted dynamic actions.
I see.
So I didn't write 250 lines of JavaScript, but 10 lines, 5 lines, 20 lines in single JavaScript and single dynamic action calls. So it's not the single technology is not that complicated. So SQL is not that complicated, and PL SQL is not that complicated, and Apex is not complicated at all. At the end, you do web development, and there's a lot of room to improve your skills, of course. And this is why I think that the nerds which I'm not. I'm not a technical. I studied business administration. I never was in the IT field before, so I just got into it because I was sick of it, talking to these IT guys, and they didn't understand me, and they did what they thought I wanted to have.
And you're like, no, that's not what I want. Here, let me show you.
So, and then I started, okay, let me try it by myself. It's much faster. So I'm not an IT guy, technical guy, but this is the beauty of it is that the nerds out there, they are still happy with Apex because they can enhance it indefinitely.
Yeah.
They can write plugins and integrate JavaScript libraries and whatever. They can achieve everything. It's very easy for a beginner to get into the technology, but you can be in this technology and you never get bored for 20 years. And you always learn something new.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Great, Juergen. Well, thank you so much for your time. Just super appreciate just the passion and zeal that you bring to the community, and just obvious. It's obvious that you love your work in Apex, and just everybody in the community is definitely benefits from the fact that Apex World and the stuff that you and the guys are all doing there. I'm glad to see that you've got several other hands helping you there.
Me too.
And, you too. Yeah, absolutely. And keep up the interviews. I love it sitting in on those interviews with that you've done with the various guys on the development team, and Mike and Mark and those guys. And so thanks again, and congratulations once again for winning the Devies Award. Very well won, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Todd.